Welcome to This Week in High School Sports. I'm Teresa Whipple, and Steve, it feels like basketball. It's cold outside.
I don't know if cold feels like basketball when you're outside, but certainly once you get inside, there's a lot of it being played these days.
Yeah, you get in the gym and get warmed up anyway. And before we talk about basketball, we're going to thank our sponsor, Red Onion Burgers, and remind you that if you have family and friends in for the holidays, let them do the cooking because they have food, they have takeout, and you can go to redonionburgers.com and get hot food, cold food, whatever you want.
Yeah. I think I'd prefer hot food at this point in the season.
Yeah,
but,
I think so
but you
too.
can get anything you want there, and
Yeah.
quite a bit anyway. So
Quite a
thank you,
bit.
Sean, and for their support. And
Yes,
go enjoy yourself, say a Red Onion Burger.
that's right. And so let's talk girls basketball.
Yeah, great week for the Warriors. Edmonds-Woodway, they're off to a 6-1 start. Defeated Marysville-Pilchuck early in the week. We expected that. Then they beat Shorewood, a Shorewood team that is undefeated so far this year. Taran Shelley, who is a commit to go play at Washington State University next year, always kind of a thorn in the Warriors' side, so to speak, and the Warriors picking up a nice victory, so doing well so far this year. Linwood defeated Oak Harbor for their first conference win of the year, their first conference game, too. They're undefeated in conference play, so that was a nice victory for them. Meadowdale and Mountlake Terrace, not quite as fortunate. Meadowdale, though, two very tough losses, very toughly contested losses. That team continues to get better.
Good, that's great. Well, and what about the boys?
Boys, very similar for Edmonds-Woodway. The guys picking up 3 victories last week, 3 blowouts. Marysville-Pilchuck, Shorewood, and Terry Fox, which is a Canadian school. They're off to a 5-1 start right now, so the Warriors looking very good there. Linwood picking up a victory over Oak Harbor, 62-39, so they pick up their first conference victory. Meadowdale with a couple of tough losses. And then the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, 2 wins this week, actually 3. I'll get to that in a second here. Third one wasn't really necessarily on the court, but something that happened off the court. They defeated Shorecrest, though, earlier in the week, 59-49. It's a Shorecrest team that a lot of folks are picking to potentially win Wesco 3A this year. Shorecrest team that went to state and came 1 point away from winning the 2A state championship last year. And then they defeated Marysville-Gitchell later in the week, but it's what happened between those 2 games that a lot of the folks in Mountlake Terrace are talking about. Sean Kirk, who was a transfer from Shorewood, did not initially get cleared to play. You have to go through a clearance process if you're transferring from one school to the other. They just want to make sure everything's on the up and up. Didn't get cleared the first time around. They petitioned to have it looked at a little bit closer, and they finally found out the night before the Marysville-Gitchell game that he was in fact going to be reinstated. He went out and put up 20 points on Friday night, so he's doing okay. Not too much rest for him.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Hawks from Mountlake Terrace, we brought 2 of their players in to talk about not only what happened this past week, but also just the season in general. So here we have those interviews, Khyree Armstead and Joey Gardner from Mountlake Terrace. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks basketball team picks up 2 nice victories this week. Their first 2 games in conference, off to an undefeated start. And with us right now, 2 of the players on that team, Joey Gardner, who is a senior this year, and Khyree Armstead, who is a junior. Guys, big wins for you, especially the first one, Shorecrest. That's a team where a lot of people think they're poised to maybe win Wesco this season, and everybody thought they're the team to beat, or one of the 2 teams to beat. You guys went out and beat them by 10. That had to be feel really good. Khyree, I'll start with you. You had, I think, 23 points that night.
Yeah.
How did that feel to get that win over the Scots?
It just felt good because they're undefeated. They always think the top dog, so just want to come out on top.
Knock them off. You've
Yeah.
done something right. Joey, that's a team that you defeated them twice last year. You've beaten them over the summer in summer league tournament. Does that give you extra confidence when you go into a game like that? What is it about the Mountlake Terrace Shorecrest matchup that works out so well for you guys?
I think we're just really familiar with them because we played against that same group of guys for I think past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had 2 wins last year, 2 wins over the summer, so really got how to play like the big guy, especially.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it. We realized we got to force them to shoot that turnaround shot. And I don't know. We have a lot of success against Shorecrest.
There was a little drama in that game. Philip Pebble, who is the 6'8" big guy you're talking about, he was suspended for 2 games prior to that. You guys thought he was going to start this game. It turns out he ended up sitting out the first half and then came back in the second half. You guys still outscored him when he was in there, so that was kind of a nice feature there. But Khyree, how much different are they when he's not in there? And were you guys kind of constantly always looking over at the bench wondering when he was coming in?
Yeah, because I seen him in the first half. He didn't look happy that I wasn't playing, but when he came in, he got a quick 4, and he got injured. So, but we had really good help defense. Brennan did real good D, staying straight up. He had 2 turnaround jumpers, made 1, but yeah, Brennan did a good job on him.
Sure. So now we move forward. You guys have a tournament coming up next week at Mountlake Terrace High School. The 27th and 28th, you play Seaholm one night, Union the next. So two teams that aren't in your conference, but two teams that are always fairly tough. Joey, do you guys enjoy playing non-conference games when you don't know your opponents as well? What do those games mean for you guys?
I mean, it just gives us a chance to play a team unprepared and shows what we can do, you know, because when you make it later, you're going to go against teams that you don't really know much about, you're not familiar with, so it's a good chance to go against an opponent.
Kind of measure yourselves and see where you're at. Yeah. And what about
Especially Seaholm 2A team, so it's going to be nice to see how they are.
see how you match up with
Yeah.
them possibly? Khyree, what about you? Would you rather play a tougher opponent? What are your thoughts when you're playing non-conference games?
I'd love to play tougher opponents.
Yeah.
Just get the whole team better,
Mm-hmm.
make us work, play against better people that could go D1 or something like Wilson, or just always better to go against better competition.
Sure. Now the game on Friday night, you guys you beat Marysville-Getchell, a familiar face out on the court that you hadn't seen for a while, Sean Kirk.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you guys see him every day
Yeah.
at school and at practice, but Sean Kirk, who transferred in from Shorewood last year, hadn't been cleared to play yet. I know they were trying to petition that, and he finally got cleared. He scored 20 points in that game, by the way, against Marysville-Getchell. What does it mean for you guys to have him back, Joey?
It's just nice having him out on the court. I feel like it spaces everything out, and just he's a really good player. Having him be able to score, it opens up, like, all the attention goes on him, so it leaves a lot of people open. So,
And as a point guard, you've got to like
Oh, yeah.
having him out there, right?
yeah, it's nice having him out there.
And Khyree, what does Sean out there do for your game?
Just, they don't know who to guard. Really, they got everybody. Our starting five is just Sean drives in, Brendan out there for a three-pointer, Brock out there for three, Joey for a three. Just opens up the court a
Yeah.
lot more.
You mentioned Brendan and Brock by first name. Let's talk about those guys a little bit. Brock Davis, Meadowdale transfer, was out with a back injury last year, and now he's finally able to play. You're the leading scorer this year so far, Khyree, and Brock's number 2. What does it mean to have him on your team this season?
He loves to work. He gets a lot of rebounds for us. He's just hard guy, you know. So I love him out there.
And Joey, tell us about a few of the other players on the team. Who are we watching when we're watching Mountlake Terrace basketball
I
this
think
season?
someone to keep your eye on is Zeke. 'Cause, I mean, he's been playing
That's
really good.
Zeke Thomas?
Yeah, he's been attacking the basket really well. I think he's been playing really good basketball his last few games.
Mhm.
Tremendous deeds.
Yeah,
And Brendan is Brendan Hayes.
yeah.
And then who else are we looking at this year right now too? Are you
Mason.
Mason
Mason,
Peterson?
yeah,
Okay.
sophomore, can shoot.
Yeah.
Can shoot.
Nice to have those
Yeah.
those guys out there that can
Great.
stand behind the perimeter and
Yeah.
fire it up. Huh?
Yeah.
You're-
Keegan also.
That's
Great
okay.
defender.
Keegan,
Yeah.
good defender. Yeah,
Mm.
I know. I just
Sticky D.
good group of guys.
Now, and we're kind of talked. We mentioned 2A a second ago, but for folks who don't know, Mountlake Terrace is now a 2A school playing in a 3A conference. So when playoffs come around, you guys are going to be shifting your attention to 2A districts and hoping to get to the Sun Dome in Yakima, rather than going to the Tacoma Dome where the 3A teams play. Khyree, it's got to be different for you because your brother Marcus played on that Mountlake Terrace team a few years ago that went to state 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So I'm sure your mentality was always at that age wanting to get to Terrace and go to the Tacoma Dome.
Mhm.
Then you've had to shift it to the Sun Dome. Is it different for you knowing that that's the goal now as opposed to Tacoma?
It's not really different, you know. Still going to regional, still going to state.
Mhm.
So just keep working and we'll get to.
You
the
just want to
dome.
get you want to get to a dome, right?
Yeah.
And Joey, what would it mean for you if you guys could make that push this year and
I
get
mean,
to the dome?
It'd be huge. I mean, we can't really do anything. We can't choose if we're 3A or 2A. So
Mhm.
all we got to do is do everything we can to get there.
Yeah, and when you guys are looking at that 3A conference that you're playing in right now, I mean, what are we looking at? I mean, obviously we mentioned Shorecrest already. Edmonds-Woodway playing very good basketball right now, but there's not too many gimmies in this league, though, is there? It's a tough conference.
Yeah.
A lot of good teams.
Who are some of the teams you guys are? And you only play each team once this year, which
Yeah.
is different. Who are you looking to play this year? Who are you excited to?
I'm excited to go against Stanwood. I
Mhm.
know they're a good team.
Undefeated so
Yeah.
far. Khyree, do you have any special matchups or teams you're looking forward to playing the most, just based on relationships or anything like that? Or
Looking forward to playing Edmonds.
always say a battle with Mountlake Terrace and
Got us in
Edmonds
the
Woodway.
district championship too, so.
That's
Yeah.
yeah, to beat you guys in the
Yeah.
district championship. So
Not
we will
bad.
see. So they've got that on their minds too. But they're first and foremost, you got Seaholm on the 27th, Union on the 28th. Both of those games at Mountlake Terrace High School. Khyree, thank you very much for coming in.
Mhm.
Joey, thank you. And we will see if the Mountlake Terrace Hawks can get through the 3A, get into districts, and see where they go from there.
Terrace certainly has a strong basketball tradition, and it's great to hear those guys talking so positively about their season.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's a team that looked like they were struggling a bit early in the year. They lost 2 of their first 5 games. Now, granted, they were playing very tough competition. Coach Nalen Sood always puts tough non-conference games on the schedule to get them ready for not only the regular season, but also district and potentially state play. And now that they've got Sean Kirk back, and even before that, picking up that win over Shorecrest, that was huge for the Hawks.
Very good. Okay. Well, and now we're going to take a look at swimming, right?
Yeah, we are indeed. 3 of our 4 teams still struggling a bit in the pool. We've waiting for our first victory from Linwood, Meadowdale, and Mountlake Terrace, but some strong individual performances nonetheless. So they continue to work on their skills there in the pool. But Edmonds-Woodway, a team we talked about briefly last week, they're off to a 3-2 start as a team this season, and they've got quite a few swimmers on their team that have state aspirations. We brought 2 of those swimmers in for an interview earlier. Here we are talking to Joel and Ethan from the Edmonds-Woodway swim team. The Edmonds-Woodway boys swimming team off to a great start this year. They've won 3 of their first 5 meets, and with us right now, 2 of the members from that team, Joel Hashimoto, who is a senior, and Ethan Wang, who is a freshman. Guys, first of all, congratulations on a nice start this year.
Thank you.
Joel, I'll ask you first. A little bit of a rough week for the swim team. You guys lost 2 meets to Jackson and Shorewood, but those aren't exactly slow programs, are they?
No, definitely not. We have a lot of respect for Shorewood and Jackson as 2 teams who are year-round or year-by-year good swim teams, really competitive, fast. Most of Jackson swimmers swim club all year, and so we basically took both of those meets as meets to improve upon, and not necessarily, our goal wasn't exactly winning, but it was just improving as a team and growing closer together.
Sure, makes sense. Ethan, now you're a freshman this year, so your first time getting a chance to swim at the high school level.
Yeah.
What has it been like for you so far?
It's been a drastic change because I swim club and I'm used to very slow meets, and now that I'm in high school, it's a lot more fast-paced. It's sometimes I'm just staring like into the water, watching the people swim, and then I don't realize that it's almost my event, and sometimes I've almost missed it. And other than that, it's really fun.
And when you say fast-paced, is it quicker in terms of turnaround time between one swim meet to the next or one event to the next? Is that more or less how it works as opposed to the club?
It's like events get fired off really fast, and also the event number is very little. So there's only 12 events total, and so like if you have to swim 4 events, it's like you only have a little bit of rest in between each, and then you have to go up again.
Definitely, quite the adjustment then if you're not used to that. And Joel, for you, new coach this year. Tell me a little bit about him and what that means for the swim team.
So Nolan is a great coach. I look up to him a lot. I actually knew him before from working with him, and I think that he's done a lot of great things with this team, and he's kind of like a fatherly figure in the pool. He looks out for us and really looks out for the whole team, helps us focus on what we need to get done if we get off track, and yeah, he's always there for us.
How important is a swim coach for a swimming team? I mean, in terms of, is it more in terms of working on different forms, different styles? What does a swim coach do, a good swim coach bring to the table for a swimmer and for a team for that matter?
I think that working on technique and really focusing on his swimmers, knowing what to point out when they're swimming, and helping with that when they're at practice, during meets, after meets, and basically just having the eye to see what needs to be improved upon and knowing what needs to be done to fix that.
Okay.
And Nolan does a great job of that.
Very good. Now, individual events for both of you. Ethan, I'll start with you. We were talking a little bit off air. Sounds like they keep you pretty active and busy. You're not sure what you're going to be swimming from meet to meet, right? It kind of depends on where you're needed at that time.
Mm-hmm.
What events have you been swimming in, and what events do you enjoy?
Well, I enjoy swimming a variety of events. Almost every event is, except for long distance, is my favorite. Or I don't really have favorites except for 100 backstroke and 200 IM, and those are only my favorite because I perform usually the best in them.
Mm-hmm.
But relays are also very fun. I always really like relays, but Yeah, it's
So wherever they need you, you're pretty much willing to go, it sounds
Yeah.
like. Yeah. Now, Joel, what about you? What events are you
I
participating in?
usually swim the 200 freestyle, which for the most part is not a lot of people's favorite event because it's in between a sprint and a long distance event. And this season, I've kind of left that second event. It's kind of a meet by meet decision by the coach, and I think I've swum a different event almost every meet. So, but usually it's another freestyle event.
Noticing when I look at your schedule here, you don't have another meet until January 10th. It's a lot of time off. What is the plan going forward? Are you going to still practice as much as you normally do, or is coach giving you more time off for the break? Ethan, what is the schedule looking like? Are you guys going to keep pretty busy over the next few weeks?
yeah, it's Monday through Friday. I'm pretty sure it's just practice. Tomorrow is usual time, but then it's going to switch to mornings, and I think that it's really good to have morning practices or just practices in general because it keeps us in shape, keeps us as a team, and it really just helps us like settle down and focus on our technique because during like meet weeks you don't really have time to change anything, and you just keep on just like firing off your old technique over and over. But if you have a coach to look at your stroke and to really tweak it a little bit, it sometimes can make a world of a difference.
Sure. Now, Joel, do you miss the meets during this break? I mean, is it kind of hard to stay focused knowing that you're so far out from the next one, or what is it like for a swimmer when you have this much time between meets?
I don't think we lose focus at all. I think we actually use the break as kind of a bye week, but there's 2 of them, and we kind of just settle down and really focus on what we need to improve on as a team. And it's kind of a good mid-season break as we're almost halfway through the season, and so we use this time to really improve upon ourselves.
Now, noticing that you do a co-op program with Mountlake Terrace. So before I ask you about some of the swimmers on your team and who are the key swimmers to focus on this year, explain to me a little bit, Joel, about what that's all about and what that means to you guys. You're not combining the scores though, right?
So Mountlake Terrace and us, we practice and we attend meets together. And so coach is he's kind of he's going for this one team aspect to us, and I think that's really great. But during meets we are not scored together. But I think that emphasizing one team brings us together as a whole and makes us stronger as individuals and as a team. But
And now, who are some of the key swimmers to focus on other than yourselves here for Edmonds-Woodway and Mountlake Terrace, for that matter? Do we have some sort of strong swimmers in the programs this year?
Yes, definitely. So this past week, Sasha on Mountlake Terrace made a state cut in his 100 breaststroke as a freshman,
Oh, wow,
which is
okay.
very impressive.
And then Sasha's full name is?
Sasha Bogatova.
Okay.
Yeah,
Glad you said it and not me. I don't know if I would have got that one right.
I would not have known that either. And on our team, I'd like to point out Anthony Edwards, Ben Palmer. Anthony's a sophomore and Ben's a junior. Daniel Eno, Joseph Livesey. Those are our key main swimmers. But
How about
I mean,
Lucas?
Lucas Mraz.
Yeah.
We've got a pretty deep team this year
Mhm.
compared to past years, so it's kind of hard to name off a couple without naming off others.
Sure, you're always going to miss one or two.
Yeah,
That's
so I
understandable.
apologize if I missed anyone important.
Absolutely. Now, swimming's a little bit different than other sports in the sense that, if, for instance, basketball, you make it to districts and then it's kind of win and move on, lose and get knocked out. You just mentioned Sasha a minute ago, already making the cut for state. So a lot of times you can qualify for state in the middle of the season based on your time. So what exactly are the goals for the two of you right at this point right now? Are there individual goals? Are there aspirations to make it as a relay? Ethan, I'll start with you. You're only a freshman, so you've got plenty of time, but what exactly are you hoping to get out of this season before it's all said and done?
I definitely want to go to state as an individual swimmer and also a relay swimmer. And I'd like to make it in a couple of individual events instead of just one.
Mm-hmm. And now, Joel, you've swam at state the last couple of years as a
Mhm.
relay participant. What is your hope for this year?
I think that, well, in the past, we haven't made state cut time, but we have made it by wild carding, by wild carding. And this year we actually have a good chance of making it the state cut on our medley relay, and so that's really exciting. And I hope that we can make it in that event by time, and hopefully the other relays too. But
Sure.
we're focusing a lot on that medley relay.
Okay, they've got some time too, as we district prelims, February 10th and 11th, and state is February 17th and 18th. And then just to talk a little bit quickly about what you do away from the pool or away from the swimming team. Ethan, you mentioned to me that you play piano in your off time. Do you have a favorite style of piano or songs that you play in particular? What kind of a piano player are you?
Around the holidays, I start trying to play holiday songs. I enjoy a little bit of modern music in there, but mostly classical.
Sure.
And my teacher isn't really familiar with the modern songs, so she's more of a classical teacher.
Makes sense. It happens sometimes. And Joel, I noticed when you're not swimming competitively, you stay in the pool. You're a lifeguard too. Tell me a little bit about that job and where you're lifeguarding at.
Yeah, so I lifeguard and teach swim lessons at Madison Pool in Seattle, and I guess it's just kind of a good break on the weekends to kind of stay around the water and help other kids learn how to swim, and then guard the pool. I enjoy it a lot, and it's just something I do in my free time.
And as a swimmer and as a senior, any aspirations to swim in college, or what are your plans moving forward?
Unfortunately, the colleges that I'm applying to, they do not have swim teams, so I think after this year I will be done, which is something I haven't really thought about, but I'll probably be extremely upset about that at the end of the season. But yeah.
You've got a lot of time left this season too, so
Yes.
we'll see. But again, successful so far this year. It's been a lot of fun to kind of follow you guys, and we'll see if these guys can make it to state. Ethan, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Joel, thank you. And we will continue to follow the Edmonds-Woodway swimming team all season long.
It's good to see that those student athletes have aspirations outside the pool and some good leadership on that team as well.
No, absolutely, and you're right about outside the pool. It's always fun to get a chance to talk to these athletes and find out that they're doing things other than their sports. It's
like
academically, piano,
Yeah.
great for him.
Yeah, very, very good. All right, so now we're on to wrestling.
Yeah, we had a big one this weekend. The Linwood Classic took place. 10 different schools were there, including all 4 of our schools from the Edmonds School District. 5 different wrestlers from the district winning their weight classification. So a good job by them. And for Mountlake Terrace, they had 3 of them. It was Musa Traore, who won the 152-pound class. Audrey Seabrook won the 182, and Rainey Mack won the 195. Meadowdale had Jesus Hernandez Baez, who won his weight class. And then our friend Luel Wolde, the cross-country runner from Linwood, who we met earlier this year, he won the 132-pound class. So a nice job from all 5 of them, and as well as all the other wrestlers who participated in that over at Linwood High School on Saturday.
Well, good. Do we have any upcoming athletic events this week that people can take a look
We
at?
do. The big one, we've got some basketball games coming up.
Yeah.
A few of our teams are going to be heading over to Wenatchee this week for a basketball tournament that's taking place on Thursday and Friday. I know we've got the Linwood boys over there. The Meadowdale boys are going to be there as well as the Linwood girls. So if anybody's in Wenatchee and looking to watch basketball, if you're there for the holidays, head on over to their main gym over there in Wenatchee, and you can get more information on wescoathletics.com. And there's a few other games sprinkled throughout the week. Obviously, it's a little bit slower, but being that Christmas is coming up on next weekend. But one game that I'm interested in watching and going to try to make it out to, Edmonds-Woodway girls playing at home against Kamiak. It's a 5 p.m. start on Tuesday. We already mentioned Edmonds-Woodway's off to a 6-1 start. Kamiak has one of the better teams they've had in a long time. They could be even contending for Wesco 4A perhaps, so they're going to be one of the top 2 or 3 teams there anyway. So that could be a really fun basketball game to watch. But other than that, there's a few other games here and there, and folks can go to wescoathletics.com and find those schedules, or they can go to mltnews.com, linwoodtoday.com, myedmondsnews.com, and follow us there.
Very good. Well, we hope all of you have a great holiday week and weekend, and we will be back with more after Christmas. So Merry Christmas to those who celebrated, Happy Holidays to everyone else, and we will see you soon.
Happy holidays.